The tide still goes in, the tide still goes out. Today on the Atheist Viewpoint, the second half of the Reddit Ask Me Anything questions. Hello and welcome to Atheist Viewpoint. I'm David Silverman, president of American Atheists, and this is the second edition of our Atheist Viewpoint with the Reddit AMA questions. Love these questions that came in. AMA has asked me anything, and the good folks at Reddit have bubbled up over 200 questions to ask me, and I am very, very grateful to those questions, grateful to everybody, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my abilities. As you may know, the Reddit questions bubble to the top with relative to the popularity of the questions. So I'm reading from the, I guess it's now the 5th page of questions down, and I'm going to start right in, and we'll go into it. So Kazim, David, I've been wondering if you have been, I had been wondering if you would have liked to respond to O'Reilly's questions about the tides by mentioning the moon. Lots of people piled on to it since the interview, but at the time you sort of laughed it off. Were you deliberately avoiding getting bogged down in questions off the limits of scientific knowledge, or was it one of those cases where you didn't think of the comeback until the end of the appearance? From Russell Glazier from the Atheist Experience. No, Russell, I had it all down. This was a decision. I knew that when you're dealing with Bill O'Reilly, you've got seconds. And if you say, well, we know the moon did it, but, and I got this question from David Portman too when I did his show, we know the new moon did it, but, Bill would have immediately responded with, well, how do we know the moon did it? Where did the moon come from? And then all of a sudden, my one segment on O'Reilly is off talking about lunar gravity. And I don't want to talk about lunar gravity. So the important thing to understand is that when I go on these television shows, I will answer the questions I want to answer. Just because they ask it doesn't mean I'm going to answer it. I'm there to talk about, I was on O'Reilly to talk about the billboard and the website and the convention. I'm not there to talk about 5th grade science. If I had the chance to do it over again, the one thing that I would have changed is I would have said Poseidon instead of Thor. But no, that was the right way for me to respond, and I did not, and I would not change it if I could. MS Smokin', what would you recommend as a decent way to come out to your family as an atheist? Been struggling on this one for 2 years now. The entire family is religious, plus I live in the South. Here's another question. What are the most ridiculous scenarios you have encountered regarding religious nut jobs? Okay, so the first question is far more important, frankly. What would you recommend as a decent way to come out to your family as an atheist? The first thing is that I do not accept that your entire family is an atheist, is religious. There's probably someone in your family that's not. Find that person. Is it your aunt? Is it your sister? Is it your father? Find the person in your family that's not a nut job. Maybe they're not an atheist, but they're probably not a nut job. Find that person and tell them first. Get them on your side. And then make sure they're in the room when you tell the rest of your family. And here's what you're going to tell your family. Mom and Dad, you two are great parents. You've done a wonderful job raising me. You've raised an independent thinker. You've raised a proud, independent person who knows what he wants, likes what he wants, and knows what he thinks. Now that means that I'm not going to think the same thing that you do, but I want you to understand that I give you credit here because I'm an atheist, and I'm not going to be going to church with you anymore. And this is a very good thing, and this is something of which you should be proud because you brought me to a point in my life, your guidance brought me to a point in my life where I could make this decision with education, with knowledge, on my own. This is something for which I'm very grateful. I'm very happy to be your son. I love you both very much. I know you love me too. Now, I'm not going to be going to church with you anymore. And if somebody has a problem with that at church, well, they can come to me because I'm an adult and I'm going to take the heat for everything that I do. But I want to just thank you for being the wonderful parents that you are. You deserve the credit because you were great parents. And then you're going to have your aunt, sister, brother, whoever, right beside you saying, you know, he talked to me beforehand and he's thought about this, and I think he's a very well-adjusted individual who just thinks differently from his parents. And that's how you come out. And it's not going to be easy, but look, I had a discussion with a couple different people at the Alabama Regional Convention that we had last weekend. And everybody talks about, oh, how hard it must be or how hard it's going to be. Not too many people talk about how hard it was. And we had this a substantial discussion of how many people had we heard of that were angsting, that had such angst over the issue of coming out to their parents relative to the very small number of people that we could think of that were actually disowned by their parents when they came out as non-religious. I mean, Nate Phelps, the son of Fred Phelps, was one of them. But we had to go there. And that's an extreme case before we could actually find somebody that, oh yeah, they were pissed for a while, but they got over it. And now we don't talk about it. And that's fine. You're out of the closet. We get a lot of that. So I would submit to you, strangers out there, that your parents are probably not going to be nearly as upset as you think they're going to be. Statistically speaking, I believe that's correct. Let's see. That's the end of that page. I assume you get plenty of hate mail. But do you get any violent or other threats that you've decided to take seriously? P.S. I admire the fact that you didn't slap Bill. I probably would have hit him at least twice during that interview. Yeah, thwap, thwap. Stop it. Look, I get plenty of hate mail. Most of the hate mail that I get is warnings about going to hell. The end times are coming. I get a lot of hate speak when I go on radio interviews for shows like Laura Ingraham. But as far as actual threats, they've been very, very minimal. Very minimal, in fact. I don't think I've received a single threat of violence at all since I became president. In fact, in years and years of being an activist, now that I think of it, I haven't received a single threat of violence. My car was keyed once because it's got atheist stuff all over it. My evolved fish was stolen. And no, we haven't gotten any real threats that I take seriously. We do get crazy emails, but none that I take seriously. And I want to go into this for just a moment because it is my contention, you know, we always talk about atheists having a worse reputation than we deserve. Well, guess what? We're not the only ones. Christians, Jews, and Muslims all have a worse reputation than they deserve. When we had protesters, and if you have ever come out to one of our events, which I hope you do, there are almost always protesters out there. They're nice people. They're not going to hurt you. They're nuts. They're woefully uneducated, woefully ignorant about their own Bible, but they're not going to hurt you. And I think that we have to realize that we demonize them almost as much as they demonize us. And if we stop that, we would get along much better. Many have argued, and it is reasonable to suspect that Bill O'Reilly's questioning of the tides may not be literal. Instead, it seems to be a simplified version of the first cause. My question is, since so much science is complex and nuanced, how can we combat simple and effectively delivered illogic, such as that of O'Reilly? And this goes back to the show, to last week's show. The best answer that I can give is to use the exact same arguments for myths. The flying spaghetti monster is an excellent example. Zeus and Poseidon are excellent examples. How'd the moon get there? Zeus put it there. How silly is that? Well, you wouldn't believe that, but you believe that another invisible magic man in the sky got there. And I believe that calling gods invisible magic men in the sky gets the point across. These people, these religions have this aura of respectability that they need and they insist on. I don't give it. And I never give respect to religion. I don't like religion, and I don't respect religion, and I don't respect religious thoughts. If your invisible magic man in the sky wants to kill me, he can kill me. Oh, look, he didn't. It's not something that needs to be complex, and it's definitely not something that needs to be kowtowed around or coddled. This is something that needs to be fought head on, and if you want to argue against ignorance, you have to call it ignorance. How do you consider yourself qualified to be the voice of the atheist community? Not that I think that you aren't. I'm just wondering what your credentials are. I do not see myself as the voice of the atheist community. I see myself as the voice of American atheists. I have been an activist now for 15 years, and I've come up through the ranks. I've gone to Trenton. I've delivered leaflets. I have been in courtrooms. I've led, I've originated marches and protests, lots of firsts, lots of awards, but I do not see myself as a spokesman for the atheist community at large. It's important that you understand this, and it's important that you understand that I understand this, because the atheist community is very, very broad, and a lot of atheists don't agree with me, and I get that. And that's why there are other organizations. And you know, when I say there are other organizations, I mean it. I'm not saying go, go, go if you don't agree with me. I'm saying go if you don't agree with me. Go. It's not. There's nothing bad here. There's nothing malevolent. There's nothing. There are no hard feelings here. I'm not a member of every atheist organization because I don't agree with some of them. And it's perfectly reasonable for atheists out there not to agree with me. They should join other organizations as opposed to not joining any. That's an important point. And the other important point is that I do not see myself as a spokesman for the atheist community. I am a spokesman for the Marines of free thought, the hardline atheist community, the hardline American atheists. We're here to call religion out. We're here to call atheists out when they call themselves religious but really aren't. I'm the spokesman for that because I was elected president, but that's all I am. I don't want to sound condescending, but I feel like the American atheists could have put their resources to better use than a billboard campaign. Do you feel that it was effective? Are there any other projects on the table that you can talk about? What is your personal goal as president, the goal of the organization? Also, I'd like to get involved not just by donating money, but time. How can I sign up? What a wonderful set of questions from Band Pit Deviant. All right. As I slurp coffee into the microphone, let me first start out by saying, yes, 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 the billboard campaign has been an absolute knock out of the park success. The amount of press that we received from this billboard, the amount of donations that we've received from this billboard, the amount of members that we received from these billboards have been far and beyond anything else that we could have imagined. My friends at the AHA, who I mention the AHA often, but it's because I have a good relationship with them, and I really do have a lot of admiration for Roy and Dave. But they had an ad at the similar time. They spent much more money on their ad campaign and got much less mileage. And I would say that our billboards really knocked it out of the park. 2 billboards, about $10 million worth of press just from those 2 billboards. $10 million worth of press in multi languages. So in multiple countries and in multiple languages. So yes, I feel that the billboard campaign has been an outrageous success. I feel like the you know it idea behind it has struck a real hard chord. The churches don't like it because they know we're right. We're reaching, with our billboards, we're reaching into the pews. We're reaching into the pews. That's what they don't like. And that's why it's going to continue. That's why it's been a success. Are there any projects on the table that you can talk about? Sure. We got 2 more billboards going up. One is going to be in Oakland for the rapture. We're going to have a a rapture event when the rapture doesn't happen. Guess what? The rapture's a total scam, in my opinion. The rapture's a total lie, in my opinion. They're just trying to sell books to suckers, in my opinion. And we're going to have a post-rapture party after it's done. And we're going to have it in Oakland, but we're also going to have something in Texas. We're going to have the same billboard going up in both locations. And I'm working on putting together a campaign where local groups can put up half a billboard and American Atheists will match the cost of putting up the same billboard so we can get the same billboard, you know it's nonsense, up all over the country. Wouldn't that be cool? And of course, the other thing that we're working on is we have another ad campaign going up in July that I'm not going to talk about. And we have, of course, our national convention. Our national convention's April 21st to the 24th in Des Moines, Iowa. Christopher Hitchens, P.Z. Myers, Greta Christina, Matt Dillahunty, Jeff Charlotte, and a couple of other guests that I can't quite mention, but it's going to be great. Students can come to the convention and get membership in American Atheists for $20. It's a push to get students in there. Please come to this convention. It's $20. The Embassy Suites sleeps 4 to a hotel room on a bed. Please come. You're going to love it. And if you've never walked into a room with 500 atheists before, you owe it to yourself to do that. I'd like to get involved not by donating money, but time. Wonderful. How can I sign up? Well, first of all, you sign up to be a member on atheists.org. See that website back there? Atheists.org. Go there and sign up. We're going to be updating the website, by the way. It's going to look great by the time the convention rolls around. But then we need to know where you are and what your skill sets are. And once we know where you are and what your skill sets are, we need state directors in a bunch of places. We need volunteerism here at the center. We have a lot of things that we could really use your help on. So if you'd like to donate your time as well as your money, yeah, your money is needed. Yeah, really. Right now we have a legal challenge that doubles challenges to a legal fund. So if you donate $100 or $1,000, it gets matched and donated into our legal fund for our legal activities. And our legal activities are going to get really expensive since it's very possible. At this point, it looks like it's very possible that 2 of our cases might go to the Supreme Court. So we really need all the help that we can get. Oh, and the other thing that you can do to help American Atheists is actually spread this word. Actually spread this meme. Make sure that people see this video. Make sure that people hear about American Atheists. Spread the word. It's more than just liking it on Facebook. It's a constant act of retweeting. It's a constant act of upticking on Reddit. It's a constant act of making sure the memes get promoted and promoted and promoted so that atheism permeates. This is something that people need to do to help this movement. 30% of the under 30 crowd are non-religious people, and I think it's very important that we address that. Let's see. There will be people who claim to be atheists for illogical or irrational reasons. While it is certainly their right, this is from Pumbo. While it is certainly their right, do you recommend a method for challenging dogmatic atheists to consider why their worldview is correct? Ah, what an awesome question. And Pombo is completely correct, because if you're a dogmatic atheist, you're vulnerable to deception. You've got to learn. And the best way to do it, stick them in front of a debate audience. Let them see it. Take them to a debate. I got tickets. You and I are going to a debate. We're going to go see Hitchens. We're going to go see Dawkins. We're going to go see a debate with Eddie Tabash. We're going to go see people dismantle religion. It's going to be fun. That's how they get less dogmatic. Just hearing that makes them less dogmatic. Okay. One of the biggest issues of being an atheist in the U.S. is the sense that of a community that a church creates is difficult to recreate. Are there plans for your organization to create a community-based church alternatives on Sundays? Okay, loaded question. Thank you, Y Brand, or Willie Brand. Okay. No. American Atheist is not going to be holding church services on Sunday. That's not our thing. We're activists. We're not a social organization. We're an activist organization. However, we recognize that atheists need a social organization in order to help them grow and flourish and feel belonged. Also, some atheists need a social organization to pull them out of the social organization that they're in right now called a church. So what we're doing is we're fostering what's called the local partner program. The local partner program means that American Atheists will reach out to its local partners and help them grow, help them flourish. This is what we did in Alabama when we put up a billboard and we had a ram, and we're doing it again in Oakland. We're going to have a party. We're going to have a billboard. It's going to be great, and this is something that we need to do. American Atheists is going to flourish, but in order for the movement to flourish, we need a groundswell. We need a set of local activist groups that will not only provide activism at the local level, but also a social basis for the people. That's the theme behind the local partner program, and that's how we're addressing that issue. Do you think changes in the American education system would increase the number of atheists? Yes. We need more critical thinking skills in our science classes, less memorization and regurgitation, more figuring it out. The more we advance as a society, the more we seem, this is from Pastafarian K, the more we advance as a society, the more we seem to part with religion. Is it only a matter of time before America becomes a majority atheist country? If so, when do you see this happening? Yes, it is going to happen. There is no doubt in my mind that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen before most of you reach my age. I would say 15 years, we're going to see a very different country. If we push hard, if we make this push, if we work this momentum, we can get this done in 15 years. Are you a dictionary atheist? Oh, good. You're putting me against P.Z. Myers. I'm a dictionary atheist when it comes to counting atheists. I'm a dictionary atheist when I say, all right, how many atheists are in this country? We got 15%, 16%. That includes agnostics. That includes outed, hardcore atheists. That includes secular humanists and brights. I am not a dictionary atheist when it comes to myself. I'm an educated atheist. I'm an atheist because I've read the books. I've made the decisions. I do not count myself as a dictionary atheist when I talk about myself. But when we talk about the atheist population on the whole, we need to look at the dictionary, because I'll tell you what, if you ask a Methodist what his religion is, he'll say Christian. If you ask a Lutheran what his religion is, he'll say Christian. If you ask a Catholic what their religion is, he'll say Christian. But if you ask an agnostic, he'll say agnostic. If you ask a secular humanist, he'll say secular humanist. This is bad thinking. This is us dividing ourselves unnecessarily. So yes, when we look at the population of the country, we need to be dictionarians. When we look at ourselves, we need to be true to our knowledge level and not dogmatic. Okay, so again, the American Atheist National Convention is in Des Moines, April 21st to the 25th. I would like to thank everybody at Reddit for submitting these great questions. I apologize to those who I didn't get to, but maybe we'll do this again. Our website is atheists.org. See it up there? Go to it. Log on, register. It's $20 to be a member, and it's $20 to be a member and come to the convention. You should be doing a little math in your head there. So come to the convention, April 21st through 24th. It's going to be fantastic. And thank you very much for watching Atheist Viewpoint. I'm David Silverman, President of American Atheists. Have a wonderful day.